morning, Madam Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Gwen Marback, and I'm the Assistant Director of Approval and Accreditation for the Department of Public Instruction, and I'm here to oppose House Bill 1211. House Bill 1211 would repeal, and it's all written there. I don't want to take up more time than I necessarily have to. What I'd like to get into are the numbers in paragraph 2. As of yesterday, the STARS reported 2,389 students enrolled in North Dakota home schools in North Dakota. Now, in testimony taken in the last session, 2009, there were nearly 4,000. With such facts in front of us, do we really want to diminish the regulation for home education? In my testimony today, I provided you with a color-coded map from the National Homeschool Association outlining regulation requirements throughout the United States. Attached to this document, I have provided review of state regulations at a glance, taken from JW World Research. Copies of Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Minnesota, and South Dakota state homeschool regulations taken from each prospective state Department of Education websites. And then on the table over there, I do have a parent guide to special education. Before I get into the next part of my testimony, on the homeschool, North Dakota Homeschool website, in the legislative section, it indicated that they wanted to go from a red state to an orange state. Now, I found it very difficult to develop a set of criteria or components distinguishing regulations from green, yellow, orange, and red. There seems to be an ambiguous set of criteria which recognizes the various levels of regulations. I've found many inconsistencies. On the table to my left, I have 2 binders that indicate the research that I've done on all 3 color of regulated states in homeschooling. Now I'm going to skip part of what I was going to talk about as far as green states because of time, but I'd like to go directly to the orange state, Minnesota. Now, if you take a look at the second part, or the first part with the second part, where there is Illinois, Minnesota, South Dakota. Do you see that? It was there were 2 sections there.
Is it this one?
Yes, and it says orange on top. And if you'll refer to the second page where it gives curriculum requirements, and then it also gives monitoring enforcement laws. The school district superintendent has a legal duty, not just an option, to be aware of how Minnesota's compulsory instruction laws relates to a child who resides within the borders of their district, no matter where the child is enrolled. District superintendents or their designees may request annual meetings to understand your home school better. Local district superintendents shall, as a legal responsibility, intervene when the district has indicators that there are compliance issues with compulsory attendance. Okay, that's an orange state. Let's now turn the page again for time to where it says Homeschool Basics Fact Sheet 2, and that's a couple pages down, where there are requirements, reporting requirements for all families. And if you read this whole section and in other sections ahead, Minnesota has 2 accreditation organizations that accredit homeschools. And if you are accredited by one of those institutions, you have less reporting. And part of the accreditation process is to be a licensed teacher in one of those areas. Okay, if you, okay, I talked about that. If you go to the next page, they have to submit a calendar, and they have to submit quarterly reports. All home schools, on the next page, must report immunizations. The next section under homeschool basic fact sheet number 3, testing requirements and reporting and responsibilities. Now in the state of Minnesota, an orange state, every year homeschool families must report to their local school superintendent the specific exam to be used and administered and the location of where that test is going to be taken. The law requires that the local superintendent and homeschool parent must mutually agree on such test. Going down further, if annual testing and any required supplemental testing indicates that the student's performance is at or below a 30th percentile or one grade below performance for the students of that same age, additional testing is required. Now, those schools or those homeschools are exempt if the homeschool parent is a licensed teacher. Now it goes further on. If the test excludes certain basic communication, math, science, social studies, and health, there also needs to be additional testing done. Okay. All right. That is the orange state of Minnesota's test requirements. Now, if
Gwen,
Yes.
before you go any further on that, so is it your thought that Minnesota is an orange state but has as many regulations or requirements as we currently have in North Dakota? Is that the point you're trying to get to?
the point I'm trying to make, excuse me, Senator Couch, or Representative Couch, yes.
Okay, go on.
What I have found, and I have indicated earlier, that I have found many inconsistencies from green, yellow, orange, and red. And this is just one of those examples. I could stand up here for probably 2-3 hours and go through my books. We don't have that kind of time. I would like to direct you then to the last page, which is South Dakota, and it's very brief on testing. The school district's responsibilities. Well, first the parents, they have the parents' responsibilities, but the school district responsibilities is to review and approve the intent to homeschool. So they have to be approved. Once they are approved, copies are mailed to the Department of Education in that state. So the superintendent in that district must approve someone to be homeschooled. Again, South Dakota is an orange state. Keep test scores or track homeschool students on their MIMS system, which I assume is like our STAR system. Keep test score records. If students show less than satisfactory academic progress, the school board may refuse to renew the child's certificate of excuse for compulsory attendance. If the superintendent finds that the student is not being instructed, the school board may immediately revoke the child's certificate of excuse. Okay, this again is an orange state. Unlike North Dakota, we have nothing in law that states any of this, and we're a red state. I see some inconsistencies here. And the only reason I decided to go to the orange state is because that is what the Homeschool Association has on their website. So I'm just going to talk about the orange states. Okay. Now, as the individual in the department responsible for homeschool issues, I have responded to numerous calls from parents, superintendents, federal, staff members, and concerned community members. I have been asked by homeschool parents if the department could issue their child a high school diploma, as their child is now seeking employment and needs a high school diploma from an approved or accredited high school. In investigating their inquiries, all parents could provide was a diploma printed off their home computers. I have been called by federal human resource departments asking me if I could provide them with evidence of a high school diploma from an approved school in North Dakota, as it is part of the hiring requirements individuals seeking employment with that agency. In these instances, the federal agency personnel has contacted the public school district of residence in which the applicants resided to obtain a copy. They were not successful because the child was homeschooled.